A random experiment is nothing but an experiment which is having more than one outcome. Writing all the outcomes of a random experiment in one set is nothing but sample space. Mutually exclusive events is nothing but they cannot occur simultaneously. That means A intersection B is empty. An event which does not occur is nothing but impossible event or null event. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you. This is your Shruti ma'am, Vidyashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So welcome to the new session of the chapter 3 probability. It is your third chapter in the unit algebra. So in our previous session, we have discussed about permutations and combinations. I hope all of you have watched the videos and learned about permutations and combination. So let us start today's session. So let me introduce to you a concept called probability. So before going to the concepts of probability, let me see what the topics I'll make you to learn in this session today. First, let me introduce what do you mean by probability, and later we will learn about the definition of probability and some important terms related to probability, and finally we are moving for the illustrations of probability. So what do you mean by probability? So a probability is nothing but a measure of uncertainty. It is a branch of mathematics. We study the probability concept under statistics, where probability is nothing but measure of uncertainty. What do you mean by measure of uncertainty? So for example, we say it may rain today. I may pass in the examination. So these are may, might, can, could, happening, all or nothing but probability. So we are guessing the chances of the event is happening or not. So what do you mean by probability? Probability is nothing but a measure of uncertainty. Here I have given an example of a die. When I roll a die, I may get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. So here I am not sure whether I will get exactly 1 or exactly 6 or exactly 3. So this is what the probability measures. So the study of probability helps us to find a likelihood of something happening. If something is happening, we are measuring in terms of number, that is if it is happening or if it is not happening, or it is unlikely to happen or likely to happen. So one more example I can say, tossing a coin. So take an example of tossing a coin. So when you toss a coin or flip a coin, you may get head or tail. So you are not sure that you will get exactly head or exactly tail. So measuring these kinds of experiment is nothing but probability. In your science experiment, the result is always a single outcome. Okay. So but here we call them as a random experiment. So what do you mean by random experiment? A random experiment is nothing but an experiment which is having more than one outcome. So let us review the concepts of probability. So in statistics, probability determines the outcomes. So for example, when you flip a coin, it determines whether you are going to get a head or you are going to get a tail. But it is only a chances. So the measurement of chances is nothing but probability. So it is very important to identify all the outcomes of an experiment. So before doing a certain experiment, you should be aware of getting how many outcomes the experiment will have. Suppose when you throw a die, you will be having 6 outcomes. So you may get 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6. When you toss a coin, you may get either head or tail. So there will be 2 outcomes. So you must be aware of the outcomes of an experiment. Next one, the probability of the occurrence is always expressed either in terms of decimal or in terms of fractions. So let us see how the probability works for an experiment. So this is the probability scale here I have taken. So let me think we have an experiment. So here what? 0. So 0 indicates it is not happening. So this probability is which says likelihood of happening. So we can say the maximum value of the probability is 1 and minimum value is 0. So the probability always lies between 0 to 1. So if it is impossible to find the outcomes of an experiment, or if an experiment do not contain any outcomes, then we say the probability is 0. So here it is impossible to happen. When it is certain to happen, okay, the probability value is 1. So here I have said unlikely to happen. Here equally likely. Equally likely means it may happen or may not happen. The chances of happening here is 50%. So here likely to happen means it is almost happening. So the chances may considered as 75%. So here unlikely means the chances are less to happen. So here this is less and here it is more. It can happen. So the percentage increases from 0 to 100% for any experiment to happen or not. So let us study some important terms in probability. The very first one is random experiment. So what do you mean by random experiment? As I already said, any experiment which is having more than one outcome is nothing but random experiment. So example, tossing a coin. You have two outcomes, that is head and tail. So my second example is rolling a dice. Rolling a dice has 6 outcomes. That is either when you throw a die, you may get this or this or this or this. So you cannot exactly find what you will get when you throw a dice. Therefore, it is an example for random experiment and it has 6 outcomes. Next one, sample space. So what do you mean by sample space? Writing all the outcomes of a random experiment in one set is nothing but sample space, and sample space is always denoted by S. Sample space is always denoted by S. So here I have taken an example for sample space. I have taken an experiment of tossing a coin. So it has 2 outcomes. All the outcomes must be written in the form of set. So I have written head and tail. I have taken one more example here. Tossing 2 coins. When you toss 2 coins, what happens? Either both will get head. First one may get head and second may get tail. First one may be tail, second one may be head, or both may get tail. So these are the possibilities of this experiment, that is when 2 coins are tossed. So therefore I have 4 outcomes here. So when you write that in the form of a set, this is your sample space. Next, third example I have taken, when a die is cast and a coin is tossed. So when a die is cast, what are the outcomes you may get? So you may get numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the possibilities of throwing a die. What happens when you flip a coin? You may get head or tail. So what you are going to do in this experiment, you are casting a die as well as you are flipping a coin. So if a die will get 1, then a coin may get head or tail. So you will be having 2 chances for this case. So similarly, if die shows 6, then coin may be head or tail. So here also you will be having 2 chances. So listing all the outcomes. So for 1, if it is 1, then you may get head or tail. Similarly, you may get, if you have 5, so these are all tails. So like this, you will be having 12 outcomes. So let's move on to the one more. When 2 dice are rolled. So these are the outcomes. So total you have 36 outcomes. Remember this is very important while solving the problem. So when a 2 dice is rolled, you have total 36 outcome. So when first die is rolled, you may get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When second die is rolled, you may get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I roll 2 dice at the same time, it is like that. If the first one is 1, then any one of the outcome for the second one is possible. So therefore, the outcome is like this: 1, 1 to 1, 6. Similarly, if you get 4 for the first die, then any of them can be possible for the second die. So here is the result. So in the same way, I can write all the outcomes. So therefore, you will be having 36 outcomes, and that you will be written in the sample space using S. Next one, event. So what do you mean by event? Any subset of a sample space is called event. So for a set, you will be having subset. In the same way, for a sample space, you will be having a event which is a subset of sample space. So here I have taken an example. When a rolling a die experiment is done, your sample space is from 1 to 6. But if you have any condition that you are supposed to get only prime numbers, so the only possibilities is 2, 3, 5. So clearly we can say here E is a subset of S. In the same way, suppose they are asked to find only even number. So then what are the chances when you throw a die? You may get 2, you may get 4, you may get 6. If they ask you to find when rolling a die experiment, what are the chances of getting a number less than 5? So less than 5 means it must be 1, 2, 3, 4. So clearly observe that 2, 4, 6 is in sample space. So therefore, E is a subset of S here. So similarly, here 1, 2, 3, 4 is also in sample space. Here also E is a subset of S. So therefore, event is always a subset of the sample space. Next, types of events. So we come across many types of event. First one is null event or impossible event. So as the name itself says, the event contains no elements, no outcomes. Therefore, the set will be always empty. Okay, so therefore it is denoted by empty symbol. So an event which does not occur is nothing but impossible event or null event. So here I have taken an example, getting a number greater than 7 when a single throw of a dice. You cannot get 7 when you throw a die. The only possibility is from 1 to 6. So this is an example for null event. Next one, sure event or certain event. So sure event means it certainly happen. It happens certainly. An event which contains all the outcomes. So that a sure event must be always equal to the sample space. It must be always equal to the sample space. That is, you should write or you should get all the possible outcomes of the random experiment. So here I have taken an example of rolling a die again, getting a natural number less than 7 in a single throw of a die. So less than 7 means E will contains all the outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because it clearly says less than 7. So here event is equal to the sample space. So therefore this is an example for sure event, or one more name it can be called it as certain event. Next one, simple event, also called as elementary event. That means it should contain only one outcome. So any event having only one outcome is an example for simple event. So getting an even prime number. So what is the even prime number? We know the sample space of rolling a die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But event is asked only to find out even prime number. So that is 2. So 2 is the only even prime number. So this is an example for elementary event. Getting 2 heads when 2 coins are tossed. What is the sample space for 2 coins to be tossed? So we can write HH, HT, TH and TT. So these are the possibilities when you flip 2 coins together. So what they are asked to find? 2 heads. So if I take F is an event of getting 2 heads, so my only possibility is HH. So clearly here F is a subset of S. Make note that an event is always a subset of sample space. So this is an example for elementary event. So it should have only one outcome. Next one, compound event, an event which has more than one outcome. For example, the same example I'll take so that it is easy for you to get easy about the concept. So S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the outcome of rolling a dice. So if I take an event of getting odd number, so event of getting odd numbers for this experiment is only 1, 3, 5. So here you have more than one outcome. So this is an example for compound event. So it has more than one outcome. That is called as compound event. Next one, union and intersection of the two event. So what is union and intersection of the two union? As you remembered the union intersection of the sets, that is A union B, A intersection B. So what does A union B and A intersection B says? That is writing all the elements in the set A or set B is nothing but union of sets. In the same way, occurrence of event A or B. Event may be happen or event may get happen, but that is considered as A union B. So that is occurrence of an event A or event B is nothing but union of event. Similarly, what do you mean by intersection of sets? So the common elements present in both sets A and B is nothing but intersection. So therefore, here when you come across event, occurrence of event A as well as event B, that is both A and B must happen. That is nothing but intersection of events. Suppose I take an example here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is an example of rolling a die. If I take event A is getting prime number. So that is 2, 3, 5. Let me consider event B, which are multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 is only 3, 6. So what is union of sets or union of events? That is, it may occur in A or may occur in B. So you should write all the outcomes which are in A or B. So that is 2, 3, 5, 6. So what is A intersection B? It should occur both in A as well as B. So the only outcome is 3. The only outcome is 3. So this is an example for union and intersection of events. Next, complementary events. As you have studied as complementary sets, the same thing here you are doing for the complementary event. Suppose I'll take an example of tossing 2 coins at a time. HT, TH and TT. So these are the possibilities or the outcomes of an experiment of tossing 2 coins. Now, I'll write an event of getting only one tail or one head. So you should write the outcomes where you will get only one tail or one head. So the only possibilities is HT and TH. So this is your A. Then what do you mean by complement? So complement means it is denoted by A dash. Okay, it is denoted by A dash. Sometimes we may write it as like this also. Okay. So what do you mean by the complement means? The outcomes which are not in the event A. The outcomes which are not in event A. What are the outcomes which are not in event A? That is head, 2 heads and 2 tails. So this is nothing but complement of an event. So as the definition say, let S be the sample space and E be the event. Then complement of E is elements which are not in E. Elements which are not in E. Sometimes we say it as not E also, and it is denoted by E complement or E dash, you can say. Note here. My first note is E union E complement is always S. That is, the event and its complement is always equal to the sample space. See, with the example given here, we have A union with A complement. What are the elements I'll get? I can write HT, TH, HH and TT. The elements are same as in the sample space. So therefore, A union A dash or U union E dash is always equal to the sample space. One more I have given, intersection is empty. That is, intersection of event and its complement is empty. That means they are disjoint sets. So you can clearly say here, A is having HT and TH, A dash is having HH and TT. When you intersect, you will get an empty set. According to the example given here, your A intersection, A complement is empty. That is, they are disjoint. So remember these things. Why? Because the elements of A is not present in elements of E complement. As my definition say, complement of E is nothing but elements which are not in A. Therefore, A intersection A dash or any set like E intersection E dash is always empty, which means they are disjoint. Next, exhaustive events. So, let S be the sample space. Let A1, A2, A3, AN are the set of events. Then, what do you mean by exhaustive event? Exhaustive event is total of all the events. That is nothing but the union of all events which is equal to the sample space. They are called as exhaustive event. Suppose I write an example of throwing a die again here. Let me consider an event A1. Let me consider A1 as an event of getting prime number. So 2, 3, 5. Let me take A2, getting an odd number. So 1, 3, 5. Let me take A3, getting an even number. So 2, 4, 6. Just see the union of A1, A2, A3. So A1 union A2 union A3. So writing all the elements or occurrence of elements which are in A1 or A2 or A3. So what you will get? You will get 2, 3, 5, 1, 4, 6. See here you have all the elements which are equal to the sample space. Therefore, these are called as exhaustive events. I'll give you one more example. So let me take one more example, that is tossing two coins at a time. HH, HT, TH, TT. So let me take an event A of getting two heads. The only possibility is H and H. Let me take an event of getting two tails. Let me find A union B. So A union B will be H, H, T, T. But this is not equal to sample space. So when the union is equal to the sample space, when you have n number of events, when the union of n events is equal to the sample space, then we say they are exhaustive. Otherwise, they are not exhaustive event. Suppose I take one more event here containing one head, then you can clearly say here A union B union C is equal to the sample space. Therefore, A, B, C are called as exhaustive events. Next, mutually exclusive event. One more is disjoint. As the name itself says disjoint. Disjoint means their intersection must be empty. So if you have two events like A and B, their intersection must be equal to empty. That is what mutually exclusive event. So what does the definition say? If two events cannot occur simultaneously in a random experiment, then they are mutually exclusive event. For example, you take flipping a coin. You cannot get head and tail at the same time. Either you will get head or you will get tail. You cannot get the outcomes at the same time. So if I take A as an event of getting head and B as an event of getting tail, then A intersection B is empty. That is, they are disjoint. Now, note here, what happens if A and B are mutually exclusive? As the definition says, mutually exclusive events is nothing but they cannot occur simultaneously. That means A intersection B is empty. If A intersection B is empty, then what about the value of probability? The value of the probability is always 0. If the value of the probability is 0, what does it mean? It is an impossible event. It is an impossible event. Then what happens for P union B? P of A plus P of B. As the cardinality of set you have learned in your previous classes, N of A union B is given by N of A plus N of B minus N of A intersection B. The same concept is applied for probability of union and intersection. Since if I convert this formula here, what happens here? Probability of union of set is given by probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. Since my probability of A intersection B is 0, this value is equal to 0. So therefore, I will get probability of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. This is in the case if A and B are exclusive, mutually exclusive. That is when they are disjoint. So A intersection B empty means A and B are disjoint. Next, what happens if A and B are not mutually exclusive? If they are not mutually exclusive, then they are not equal to empty. They will be containing some outcomes inside A intersection B. So what happens to the probability? So probability cannot be equal to 0. If probability cannot be equal to 0, then probability of A union B is not P of A plus B of B. It is P of A plus B of B minus P of A intersection B. Next is independent event. So what do you mean by independent event? Events are said to be independent if the occurrence of one does not depend on the occurrence of the other. If I take an example of tossing a coin, if I want to get head, then I will get head only. The occurrence of tail will not disturb the occurrence of head, or the occurrence of getting tail is not disturbed by the occurrence of head. So what happens? The two events are independent, we say, otherwise they are dependent. Suppose I take a cards. So in a set of cards, you will be having 52 cards, usually which you like to play. If I choose a card of queen, then next I am going to choose queen again. What happens here? At first, the sample space was 52, but at second time, the sample space is 51. So here, I have taken queen, then I have taken again a queen, but the sample space varies. So the occurrence of this one depends on this. So therefore, they are not example for independent events. So if they have to be independent event, the sample space must be same. And here is an example, which is example for independent event, that is tossing a coin. If I roll a die, Getting any number is also an example for independent event. That is, if I want 5, it is not disturbed by other numbers. So that is also an example for independent events. Next, two events or A and B are said to be independent if their probability of intersection is the product of probability of A and probability of B. So this one you can write as a definition for independent event. So this is a simple way, that is, probability of their intersection must be equal to the product of their probability. Next, in general, if you have n events, then intersection of all the event is the product of their probability. Next, so here is all the concepts we have studied. So let us learn them by taking an example. Here I have taken a spinning wheel which has 7 rainbow colors. So consider a fortune wheel which is divided into 7 sectors. Each sector is with 1 rainbow color. So what is my experiment here? My experiment is to spin a fortune wheel here. So, and when I spin it, what happens? This indicator may lie on any one of the sector containing 1 different color. So it may indicate red, it may stop somewhere where it may indicate green. So let us learn the concepts in detail by taking this as an example. So what is my experiment here? Spinning the fortune wheel. Here experiment is nothing but my random experiment. A random experiment is completely different from physical experiments which you will do in your labs. What is outcomes? How can I write the outcomes? Getting any one of the 7 colors. So my outcome is to get any one of the 7 color. So then what is the sample space of this experiment? I have written in short VIBGYOR, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So these are the sample space of this experiment. Then how can I say about events? So event can be, there may be any number of events for a sample space. Here I have taken an example, a pointer landing on red. So a pointer landing on a red, suppose A, then the event is R. A pointer landing on red or blue. Let me take B as an event where the pointer may be in red or blue. Next, null event. I have given example, getting brown color. You cannot get a brown color because I have only the rainbow colors. So this is an example for null event. Next, sure event. Remember, sure event must be always equal to the sample space. This must be equal to the sample space of a random experiment. So therefore, getting rainbow color. Suppose I take A as an event, getting rainbow color, then this is what I'll get. That is equal to the sample space. Next, simple event. Simple event or elementary event is nothing but you should have only one outcome. So therefore, pointer landing on yellow. Suppose I take X as an event, then I can write pointer landing on yellow is having only one outcome, that is Y. Next, compound event. Getting 6-lettered color. Getting 6-letter colored, I have written VYI. What are the 6-letter colored in the spinning wheel? That is violet, then yellow, then indigo. So here you have 6 letters in the word. So you have more than one outcomes. So that is an example for compound event. So VYI have 6 letters and also you have 3 outcomes. So when you have more than one outcome, they are called as compound event. Next, mutually exclusive event. I have taken an example of event A and event B. So 4-lettered color. So what are the letter? If I write all the colors here, so it is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Okay, so these are the letters of the words. Now, A is 4-lettered color. So, A is 4-lettered color means what are the outcomes? That is, I will get blue. Only blue. It's an example for simple event. 5-lettered color. So, that is green. So, therefore, occurrence of A and B cannot possible at the same time. Either the pointer may indicate blue or the pointer may indicate green. So, that is here A intersection B cannot happen at the same time. Therefore, it is equal to empty. It is equal to empty. So, A intersection B means A and B. So, therefore, getting 4-lettered color and getting 5-lettered color cannot occur simultaneously. So, therefore, this is an example of mutually exclusive event. So, independent events, as I said, the occurrence of one must be independent of the occurrence of the other. They should not depend on each other. So, therefore, getting any one of the 7 color, since the pointer will lead only to any one of the color, so this is all example for independent event. Next, now we come across the theoretical definition of probability. As I said, probability is nothing but measurement of uncertainty. That is, when we are not sure whether the event may happen or may not happen or likely to happen. So, likely to happen means it is having 50% of chances to happen or may not happen. So, therefore, according to the theory of probability, we have 3 approaches to study the probability. So, what are the 3 approaches where we use to study probability is? One is classical approach or mathematical approach. The second one is frequency approach or empirical approach. The third one is axiomatic approach. Why we have 3 approaches here? So, when we have a limitation on certain approach, we have moved to the next one. So, therefore, the first is classical approach, second one is frequency or empirical approach, the third one is axiomatic approach. But in the syllabus, you will be dealing only with classical approach. So, let us study what is classical or mathematical approach of probability. Now, so according to the classical approach or mathematical approach, if a random experiment has n possible outcomes, so in total, if it has n possible outcome, then m is my favorable outcomes. M is my favorable outcomes of an event A. Then probability of A is denoted by P of A and given by the formula number of favorable outcomes over total number of outcomes, that is equal to m by n. So, this is what my definition of classical approach of probability says. I'll take an example of again a rolling a dice. Suppose S is a sample space of rolling a dice. You are having 6 outcomes. So, therefore, your total number of outcome is n, that is 6. Let me consider an event A of getting even number. If event A is getting even number, then my favorable outcomes are, favorable means for an event. So, favorable outcomes are 2, 4, 6. Therefore, here it is m. So, then what is your probability? Probability is always given by number of favorable outcome divided by total number of favorable outcome. That is 3 by 6, which is equal to 1 by 2. When you convert this into fractions or percentage, it is 50%. That means, what does the statement says? You have 50% of chance getting even number when you roll a die. This is what the measurement of probability says. It says the chances of happening, chances of an event to happen. So therefore, this is what the definition of probability according to the classical approach. Next, here are the important points to remember. As I said previously, here the minimum value of the probability is 0. If my probability value is 0, that means event cannot happen. That is impossible or null event. If my probability is 1, then it is exactly happening. That is sure event. Sure event is equal to the sample space. So therefore, my value of the probability is 1 for certain or sure event, and it is 0 for null or impossible event. All other chances lies between 0 to 1. That is, you may get half, 1/4, 3/4, etc. like this. So the value of the probability is always between 0 to 1. So therefore, the range of probability is 0, 1. So since you have studied the domain and ranges of function, probability can also be treated as a function. So whenever you have a input for the probability, whenever you have an event which is happening, then you may get the value between 0 to 1 in terms of decimal or fraction. So next, the probability of a complement event is always given by the formula P of A dash is equal to 1 minus P of A. Suppose when you have a rolling a die experiment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me take an event A. So let me take an event A where A is only the prime numbers. Then what is my P of A? How you will calculate P of A? So P of A is given by the formula M by N. So what is M? My favorable outcomes. What are my favorable outcomes? Here I have 3 favorable outcomes. So therefore my value of M is 3. What about total number of outcomes? That is equal to 6. So therefore here chances of getting a prime number is half. Chances of getting a prime number is half, that is 50%. Then what is P of A complement? So probability of A complement, according to the example here, you should not get a prime number. You should not get a prime number. Then it is equal to 1 minus P of A. Why? Because it is 1 minus half, that is equal to half again. Okay, so the chances of getting prime number is half, that is 50%, and chances of not getting prime number is also half, that is equal to 50%. So this is why the maximum value is always subtracted from 1, because the maximum value of the probability is 1. It may not become 2, 3, more than 1. So therefore, it is always 1 minus P of A for A complement. So this is all about the theory of probability here. So in the next classes, we will be dealing with the problems on probability and also about mutually exclusive, independent and other problems related to probability. So I hope you understood the concept. So make sure you know all the terms in the probability and study their definitions properly. So you have many points to remember in this class. So watch the video properly, learn it. So we'll meet in the next session. Until then, keep watching, keep learning and keep exploring. Thank you.